In this episode, we discuss the Trojan War, briefly overview its mythology, and talk about evidence that supports an actual war that may have inspired the epic cycle. Three friends,
Arabella, Maggie,
and Mikey, are doing a history project for school and have no idea what they're doing until another friend,
Maddie,
steps in and helps educate them.
Okay, no hate guys, this project kinda sucks.
I mean, it's not that bad. We at least have a title.
No, it's pretty bad.
Hi!
what are you guys up to?
Hey!
Oh, we're working on a project about the Trojan War.
We have no idea what to do with this. It's so broad and there's so much information that I don't remember. Ugh. We have no idea where to start.
What do you guys need to know specifically about the Trojan War? I can help you out with that.
That'd be great, thanks. I think, like what Maggie said, we need help picking a specific topic because we have nowhere to start right now.
How about evidence that it existed and the historical context?
Oh, that'd be good.
I mean, I thought it was just mythology.
It's actually not necessarily just mythology. We know that the Trojan War would have happened right before the Bronze Age collapse, and we know that Troy existed because of Heinrich Schliemann's archaeological dig in the mid-1800s. Unfortunately, when he did his dig, he dug too deep and used dynamite on the archaeological site, which ruined all of the artifacts in the site. But we do know about the myths which were told following the Bronze Age collapse during the Dark Ages of Greece, which became the epic cycle.
Oh, okay. That all makes sense. Except the dynamite, obviously.
Right.
What happened in the myth version, though? It's hard to remember off the top of my head.
There was this wedding that happened, and they didn't invite Eris, the goddess of discord. Obviously, you're a goddess of discord, you're not getting invited to the wedding because they think you're gonna ruin it.
That makes sense.
But it happens anyways, because she gets salty that she wasn't invited.
Lose-lose.
So she makes this like big stink by like getting a golden apple and inscribing to the fairest on it, and she tosses it into the wedding, and it lands between Aphrodite, Hera, and Athena. And they argue because they're like, no, I'm the fairest. I'm the fairest. And eventually they go and find this mortal named Paris, and they go, which one of us do you think is the most attractive? And he eventually picks Aphrodite, because she goes, yeah, if you pick me, I'll give you a really hot girlfriend.
Keep in mind this man has a wife,
Yeah,
by the way.
and so does Helen.
Yeah,
Helen
so
has
does Helen.
well, Helen has a husband, not a wife.
Well,
But,
yeah.
So Helen's husband is really mad that Paris essentially kidnaps her, and he starts this 10-year conflict. And the most notable part about it is at the end of the war, the giant wooden horse that Odysseus makes.
Yeah, no, I know about the Trojan horse. That makes sense. It's all coming back to me now. So, about the historical examples you mentioned, do you think that, we know it existed, we know this happened, that's all we really know, whatever. Is that really enough to do a project?
there actually is more historical evidence for Troy and for the Trojan War from the Hittite civilization. They were an empire in the Bronze Age that existed near Troy in Anatolia. In fact, we even know that the Hittites called the city of Troy Walusa in their language, Luwian.
But do we have any actual evidence that the Trojans interacted with the Greeks?
Yes, we actually do, and it's really interesting. There's a letter called the Tawala Agwa letter, which is between the Hittite king Hattusili III and the Yahiyawan king, who was the king of the Greeks. It basically depicted the Hittite king asking the Greek king to get back to normal trading business following hostilities between the Greeks and the Trojans. It ultimately didn't really matter since the Bronze Age collapse happened right after that anyway.
I also want to bring up the fact that mythology in general is written to explain natural phenomena. So if the Greeks were at war or maybe had recently experienced a war, it only makes sense if they created a mythological reasoning for it so they could better explain it to themselves. But can we assume that Troy fell because of that particular war, or did it fall because of something like the Bronze Age collapse?
I mean, maybe? The Bronze Age collapse happened everywhere that society developed. Cities were collapsing in Greece, Cyprus, Anatolia, the Middle East, and everywhere, really.
Yeah, it's very likely that the Bronze Age collapse had a lot to do with the fall of Troy. But that being said, we don't really know for sure how the war between the Greeks and the Trojans happened, or how long it was, or why it happened. But the important takeaway is that there are historical mentions from the Hittites.
That's really useful, Maddie. Thank you so much.
Yes,
I think we can definitely use this for our project. It'll
For
help
sure.
a lot.
I definitely
Yeah,
think
of
we can use
course.
this.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
you.